brand new street and brand new me. Side by friends I need. Don't you tell me.
Hey everybody, today we're going to do a really simple pineapple upside down cake. So you need to get out your pie pan or pie plate. 9.5 inches the best, but I mean if you don't have that exactly correct, it'll be fine. So let's get started. You need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted, and pour that in the bottom of your pie pan. And then you will need, and I'm sorry I don't have this ready, 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. And you know with your brown sugar you have to pack it. So, one. Now I would prefer putting this in my hand and just kind of sprinkling it, because when it pops out of this measuring cup, it's just going to clump. Wherever it lands, that's where it's going to land, and you kind of need it to spread out. Okay. So, there we go. Alright. So I'm going by the author's recommendations for this. She said to place pineapple ring in the center and then cut slices all the way around. Cherries and put in the center of each pineapple. And now we need to put this into the fridge to chill, and then we'll do the cake next. In a large bowl, you need to cream together 4 tablespoons of butter. So let me go ahead and get that in the microwave. That way it can soften. So your next thing that we're going to do is 4 tablespoons of butter flavored Crisco. In a large mixing bowl, you need to add 4 tablespoons of softened butter, 4 tablespoons of butter flavored shortening. Okay. And then we have to add the white sugar, and that's going to be 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons. Sorry, they said the dry ingredients on this recipe, that is part of the dry ingredients, but she includes it in the wet part, probably to cream it together. And we also need 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and don't forget to pack that. I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir. Because if you're not careful, your shortening and your butter could solidify again. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, the next ingredients will be eggs, and 2 of those, and your vanilla extract, which is literally a half a teaspoon. And you don't need to go overboard on that. Just gonna stir these to combine them. And then we'll set it aside, mix the dry ingredients really, really quickly. And we set that aside. Since this is not a really big recipe, it has a lot of ingredients, but it's not a huge cake. We're going to use just a small little mixing bowl because all I need to do is combine my dry ingredients and then we're going to switch it. Okay, she said to use all-purpose flour, but I'm going to use self-rising to cut back on some of the ingredients because it's a lot. So we need 1.5 cups of flour. Okay, that's 1.5 cups. And because of that, we can skip several little steps. Hopefully it'll still turn out. I'm going to use a whisk. Just kind of sift it a little bit. Just like always. Okay. Now your next step would be to gradually add the flour back to your wet ingredients. But we have a little caveat that goes with that. You need to alternate between wet and dry, and we're supposed to use 1/2 cup of whipping cream and a 1/4 cup of milk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of that into one bowl, 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. Gonna give that just like a little something, a little stir. Okay. You will probably need your mixer for this next step. So let me get that together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix what's already in the mixing bowl just a little bit, and then we can start adding everything. All right. All right, we're gonna stop there. You're not supposed to overmix this. All right. Take a minute to get these beaters clean. All right, let's get out our pineapple. Here's the pineapple. And let's put our cake batter in there. The oven is already preheated to 325. You need to kind of, you don't want to disturb your pineapple, so you need to kind of do little dollops of batter here and there. And then kind of lightly spread it so you don't disturb anything. So you're going to bake for 40 minutes and then you're going to cover it with a tint of foil, and then you're going to continue to bake for 30 to 35 minutes, just depending on, you know, when your toothpick inserted comes out clean. Alright, I'll see you back here in a little while. Okay, here's the finished product. You're supposed to wait 15 minutes, let it cool in the pan, and really not go past that 15 minutes. While it's still warm, it needs to be popped out of the pie plate, you know, cake pan, whatever it is that you've used. And this is what it's supposed to look like. So it did perfect. It turned out really good. I'm pretty sure it's going to taste great. See y'all next time. Hey everybody. Today I've got you a cherry almond macaroon pie. So first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And go ahead and put out your pie crust. I got one of those unrolled type. You're gonna see a mess that I made with that in a minute. But anyway, I got the unrolled type pie crust, but you don't have to do that. You can get the store-bought in the Cool Whip section of your grocer's freezer. You know, the ones that are already in the little metal pans. You can get one of those if you want to make it a lot easier. Okay, so let's get started. What we're gonna do first of all is we're gonna take care of the filling. Then we're gonna pop it in the oven. Then while it's in the oven, we're gonna work on the topping. Okay, so you need a 21-ounce can of cherry pie filling. And empty that in a bowl. So this is somewhat of a dump and go, but it's kind of a little bit fancier than your regular cherry pie. Then we need a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And a teaspoon of lemon juice. And I just used the bottle lemon juice. So you just need a teaspoon. I always keep some of this in my fridge for recipes. Next, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So that, I don't even measure that. That's like just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so stir those up. My little boys love cherry pie, so hopefully this won't mess them up, because I don't know if they're going to like all this fancy stuff. Alright. Doesn't matter if it looks ugly, because you're fixing to cover all that up. So take your filling and put it inside the crust. And you're going to bake this for 20 minutes, and you're going to take it out, and then we'll have our filling ready. And it's really, really fast. I think what takes the longest is just waiting on it to get out of the oven. Alright. That's about it. Alright, so let me stick this in the oven and we'll start on the topping. So let's start the next phase of this. So in a medium bowl, we're going to get our topping ready. Alright, and that's going to consist of, and you just mix all of these things together that I'm going to go through real quick. So, you're going to need a whole cup of coconut. I'll get some scissors because I can't get the package open. Cup of coconut. And this is just your sweetened whole cup of coconut. I'm using a half cup measure, so I'm going to have to fill it twice, of course. Okay. Half a cup of slivered almonds. And I just bought mine at Aldi's. What's next? A little bit of salt. Got that. Quarter of a cup of milk. It's just hard to believe it. The filling, you just put all that together. That's what it says. Toss it all together and then put it back in the oven. So we're going to need a quarter cup measure for the milk. A quarter cup of milk. A tablespoon of butter melted. This is softened. That's probably not going to be good enough. So let me Alright, we're going to put that in the microwave and get that going. Get all the milk out. Okay. Now, we need a quarter of a teaspoon of almond extract. You're also going to need a quarter teaspoon of coconut extract, which I forgot to get out beforehand. Okay. It's just funny how they get these flavorings to smell like the real thing. It's just funny. And a large egg beaten. Okay, stir all that up. Oh, and I forgot I need a quarter cup of sugar. We gotta get that too. Get that really quickly because it's not gonna be sweet at all if we don't do that. Oh, it smells good. Almonds and coconut. Okay, so I just need to put my melted butter in this, and then we can put it on top, but I'll show you that as soon as it gets out of the oven. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're going to add our topping. The pie is fresh out of the oven. Do not turn your oven off because you're fixing to put this right back in there. We did about 20 minutes on this. It's still popping hot. The recipe doesn't say anything about letting it cool or anything, even though this topping has got eggs in it. So, y'all, I don't even know, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Alright, I was gonna use a rubber spatula to kind of spread it, but I think that's gonna be a bad idea. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a table, you know, just like a tablespoon or a soup spoon, you know, just a spoon, regular old spoon, and I'm gonna kind of spread it out just the best I can, not messing it up. And then that way, what you can do is you can kind of control it a little bit more. So you kind of drag it, but don't be rough with it. I think a whole just like pouring it is probably a mistake, because you're going to get a glob, one big glob in one place, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. So make sure you didn't turn your oven off, because we're going to put this right back in here, and you're going to bake this for another 20 to 30 minutes, and it needs to be golden brown on top. So it's like a macaroon cherry pie, basically. And if you like coconut and almonds and all that, then you should like the pie. Alright, now I'm just taking what little bit's left, kind of poking it where I need it. Real simple. It's basically done. I didn't have to do anything. It was a two bowl operation, and it's ready to go into the oven. Now you do need to watch and make sure that your crust doesn't burn. As you can tell, it's already starting to brown around the edges, so you need to watch that. If it does seem like it's getting too dark too quick, just kind of take a piece of foil and just lay lightly over the top. I wouldn't crimp it down or anything. You can, but I'd be very, very careful. Alright, see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, y'all, this is it. Fresh out of the oven. See how it's bubbling right there? I love that. Make sure in between your filling and your topping that you leave the oven on. Don't forget. And I give it, let's see, when I put it in for the second time after the topping was on, I checked it at 20 minutes and I didn't feel like it was done enough. So I put it in for an extra 8 minutes for my oven. Your oven may be a little bit different. So be really careful. And I did tint it with foil at the 20-minute mark when I checked it, because my crust was starting to get a little bit too brown too fast, and it still kind of did get a little bit too brown than what I would like. Still edible, but maybe try to tint it just a little bit sooner. But it looks like it's gonna be good. Hey everybody, today we're gonna do an easy lime cake, and it's a semi-homemade type thing. So we'll get out the mixer and we're gonna get started. First thing that you need is a regular size package of a white or a vanilla cake mix. Go ahead and put it in your mixing bowl. Get ready with the rest of the recipe. Need to add about a cup of lime yogurt to the recipe, and I don't think this is quite enough, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of sour cream. You can add all sour cream instead if you want to. Just gonna add just a little extra to that. Okay. Half a cup of oil. Four eggs. Those are here. A tablespoon of lime zest and 3 tablespoons of lime juice. Alright, usually what I do before we start with the mixer, I kind of just lightly mix everything together just a little bit. And then I do my final mixing with my mixer. Go ahead and have your oven preheated to 350, and you need to use a bundt pan for this recipe. So you need to go ahead and have that sprayed ready. oven, we're going to put a glaze over it. And a glaze is not that hard to do. It's actually easier than a frosting or an icing. And since you added lime zest to this, it kind of makes it seem a little bit more fancy. Okay. Put this in the oven for 350, 40 to 45 minutes, or until your toothpick comes out clear. I'll see you back here in a minute. Hey y'all, let's go ahead and make our glaze for our lime cake. Got 2 cups of powdered sugar in here, 3 tablespoons of melted butter. It is best that you use melted, like real butter, but I don't know that I've ever used margarine. I'm not sure. May not taste the same either. Then we need to do, we're going to go with the lighter, or the less than, on our liquids, just to see first how thin this is going to go. This is 3 tablespoons of lime juice, 1 tablespoon of milk. Now we may have to add 1 more tablespoon of each of those, but if we don't, that's fine too. Another option would be, if you don't want to do this, you could probably do like vanilla icing with a little bit of lime zest in there and ice it that way. I was thinking about that. I probably could have done that for y'all. But that's it. Real quick glaze. It's already done. Wait till your cake is completely cool and then put this on it. And if you have to let this sit, just add just a teeny little bit of milk and it'll bring it back. Okay y'all, the cake's done. It's extremely moist, so it's probably the yogurt and sour cream mixture. The glaze, I left it thick. You do not have to do that. You can thin it out with milk. Sorry, that's my ice maker in the back. And it was real easy to do and throw together. It makes it look like you put in a lot of effort when you really didn't put in that much effort. Alright, I'll see you next time.